Some places are cut off for a reason, not by walls, not by warning signs, by venom, isolation, evolution, and time. On an island, nature can become its own law. Nature looks calm, beautiful, silent, alive. But beneath that surface, there is force, pressure building, gas rising, ice cracking, wind sharpening. A lake can suffocate a valley. A tree can burn your skin. A storm can erase direction. This is Nature is Scary, the planet that does not care. An island looks simple from above. A shape in water, a coastline, a border. But the ocean is not just space between land. It is a filter. It decides what arrives, what survives, what never reaches the shore. Over enough time, that separation changes everything. Animals lose defenses. Birds lose flight. Plants grow without old enemies. Venom becomes concentrated in one small place. A mainland shares pressure with everything around it. An island does not. It becomes a closed experiment, a system with fewer exits, fewer replacements, fewer second chances. That is why isolated islands can feel beautiful and wrong at the same time. They are not empty paradises. They are pressure chambers. And on some islands, the most important rule is simple. Do not cross the boundary. North Sentinel Island is not dangerous because it is mysterious. It is dangerous because it is protected by distance, by law, and by a people who have chosen separation. The Sentinelese have remained one of the most isolated communities on Earth. They do not invite contact. They do not need outside rescue. They do not exist for curiosity. To outsiders, the island may look like forest and reef, but that view is misleading. The true danger is not only what could happen to a visitor, it is what a visitor could bring. Disease, disruption, pressure, a chain of contact the island did not ask for. Here, isolation is not emptiness, it is survival. A boundary can protect both sides, the people inside it and the people who should remain outside it. But isolation does not only protect humans. On another island, separation created a different rule entirely. Venom became part of the landscape. Off the coast of Brazil, Ilha da Queimada Grande is known as Snake Island. Its most famous resident is the golden lancehead, a pit viper found naturally on that island and nowhere else. The story begins with separation. Rising seas cut the island away from the mainland. The snakes remained. Their world became smaller. Their prey changed. Their pressure changed. On the mainland, a species competes inside a larger system. On an island, a species can become the system. Golden lanceheads adapted to life with birds as a major food source. In a restricted habitat, their population became unusually dense. Their venom became part of the island's rule set. That does not make the island evil. It makes it specific. A place where isolation concentrated risk. A place where one animal became tied to one landscape so tightly that the island and the snake cannot be separated. But islands do not only intensify danger, sometimes they remove danger, and that can become dangerous too. Flight is expensive. Flight. It takes muscle, bone structure, energy, constant readiness, alert. On many islands, the old pressure to escape is reduced. Fewer land predators, fewer reasons to launch into the air every second. Over generations, some birds change. Wings shrink, flight muscles reduce. Bodies become better suited for walking, running, climbing, or diving. The island makes flight less necessary, so evolution spends that energy somewhere else. It sounds like freedom, but it can become a trap. Because a bird that no longer needs to fly in one world may be defenseless in another. When a new predator arrives, when humans land, when rats, cats, dogs, or disease reach the shore, the rules change faster than evolution can answer. What was once adaptation becomes exposure. An island can teach life the wrong lesson. For thousands of years, there may be no large predator, no constant chase, no reason to hide every movement. So, animals become bold. Birds nest on the ground. Plants reduce defenses. Small populations specialize for one place, one climate, one food source, one season. Inside the original system, it works. Outside that system, it fails. This is the hidden danger of isolation. It does not just create strange life. It creates life with narrow rules. A mainland species may have backup, another valley, another population, another route. An island species may have none. One invasive predator, one disease, one storm, one shift in food supply, and the whole system can tilt. That is why island beauty can be fragile. It is not built on abundance. It is built on balance. On islands, small numbers matter. A species may exist on one slope, one forest. Life here is confined. One reef. This boundary is the end. One patch of scrub above the tide line. If that place changes, there may be nowhere else to go. The island stands alone, protected by the horizon. This is why islands hold so much life found nowhere else. And why they lose life so quickly when pressure arrives. Isolation creates originality. It defines the island. But it also creates exposure. It is a dangerous edge. Within these textures, time seems to stand still. Isolation is deep. The same water that protects an island from the mainland can trap its species inside the problem. A mainland animal can move north. A plant can spread into another valley. A population can mix with another population. An island has edges. They are absolute. Past those edges is ocean. And ocean does not care what is trying to survive. That is when separation stops being a shield and becomes a cage of absolute isolation. Given enough time, islands do not just change behavior, they change bodies. The ocean edits the cast. Large animals can become smaller. Small animals can become larger. Birds can lose flight. Reptiles can dominate spaces that mammals occupy elsewhere. These changes are not random. They are answers to the island's limits. Food is limited. Predators may be absent. Competitors may never arrive. Distance prevents replacement. That can produce animals and plants that feel impossible by mainland standards. But on the island, they make sense. The danger comes when we mistake that strangeness for weakness or the beauty for safety. A small island can hold venom. A quiet island can hold disease risk. A peaceful island can hold a system too fragile to touch. The shape of the place changes the shape of life. There is no single kind of dangerous island. Some are dangerous because of people who must be left alone. Some because of venom. Some because their species have no defense against the outside world. Some because the ecosystem is too narrow to absorb disturbance. But the pattern is the same. Separation changes rules. It concentrates risk. It preserves old systems. It removes pressures. It creates new ones. A mainland is a conversation with everything around it. An island is an argument with limits. That's why distance matters. Not because islands are empty, because they are full of consequences that developed without us. The most dangerous thing an outsider can do is assume the usual rules still apply. Some places are not asking to be reached. They are not puzzles. They are not prizes. They are not empty land waiting for a story. They are living systems, human, animal, plant, microbial, ancient. On islands, nature does not have to be large to be powerful. A few square miles can hold a rule found nowhere else. A reef can protect a culture. A forest can protect a species. A shoreline can mark the edge between survival and collapse. That is the final lesson of isolated islands. Distance is not just geography. It is part of the system. Cross it carelessly, and the system changes. Sometimes for the outsider, sometimes for the island, sometimes forever. Because on an island cut off from the world, nature does not follow the world's law. It follows its own, naturally. What we have seen is not nature turning evil, it is nature operating normally. Gas rises, water moves, storms form, and when the conditions align, life gets caught in the system. Because the planet does not choose victims, it only follows physics.